Hey, how's it going? Happy November. I'm so excited. I love this time of year because there's something in the air. If you're an entrepreneur, we just get into this like dreamy mode of planning all the things we want to do next year and what it's going to be like and all that. And I think we just have all the best ideas right now. And I love being here for it and hearing them and making my own. So I'm very excited by it. But I wanted to share with you how to have your best year yet next year. And I'm going to share with you a pretty specific process that we use to make sure that whatever those big dreams are that you're sort of like thinking about right now, how to make sure that you actually hit all those goals and you make those dreams a reality. Because I don't know about you, but there have been times when I've set goals, in November or in the new year. And, somewhere along the way, I either like forget about them or I give up on them or completely change my plans altogether, maybe halfway through the year or something. And then I'm like, well, what's the point of making this big plan if I don't stick to it or if things change all the time? And so this is a three-part process that I now use so that we always follow through on all of the targets that we have. Obviously sometimes other things come up or we have a really incredible, project come to life and then we change a little bit. But for the most part, everything that we planned, in November of last year, we've done up until now. So this is the process to make sure that you actually follow through on all of those targets that you set. So here's the 3 steps. Okay. So step 1, I want you to get dreamy. This is everyone's favorite part, right? This is where I believe we can step into the entrepreneur mode in our business. Now, the best thing about entrepreneurs is they've always got a new idea. They're big dreamers. And so I want you to just like let yourself be a full-fledged dreamy entrepreneur in this phase. And this is when you really want to get into the big vision. What's the vision for next year? What do you want your company to be like? What are some of the new ideas that you have? Or how do you want, your team atmosphere to feel? And what type of products do you want to create? Basically just what do you want next year to look like? Just think about the vision. Maybe you want to bring in some new team members. Maybe you're thinking about some new passion projects that you want to create. Totally go there. Don't worry so much about how you're going to make everything happen. Just like go into dream mode and think about all of those things that you would love to create. You can put numbers down here and think about like what actual targets you would love to hit, like how much you want to be making per month or, what new team members you want to hire and stuff like that. That's entrepreneur mode. Then once you've gotten that all out, it's going to feel good. Now we got to move into step number 2, and that's the planning phase where I want you to leave entrepreneur, dreamy, new idea, big vision person, and I want you to move into CEO mode in your business. Assuming that you're the CEO of your business, I want you to step into that role and start to create a detailed plan of how to bring that vision to life. Entrepreneur, Alyssa has set the vision. She's like, I have this dream of how I want my business to look next year. CEO is like, all right, let me see how we can make that happen. So now is when you get into the detailed plan. This is this is where nerd version of me goes nuts. This is where I want you to think about your quarterly targets. I want you to think about your monthly goals. I want you to think about your revenue goals, your sales targets, your project plans, your weekly to-dos, any team members you want to have, where you're spending on ads, what your ad spend budget is, what you want your margins to be, like all of those things. Did I miss anything? I mean, projections, like all of that stuff. This is where you create those daily action steps and those big project plan to-dos that brings the vision of the entrepreneur to life, right? You get to say like, all right, just, this is where you just let entrepreneur version of you take the day off and you're going to say, here's what's realistic, here's what's not, and here's how we're going to make it happen. This is what I see a lot of people skip. They have the vision, they skip creating the actual plan to bring that vision to life. This is exactly what we're doing in the Best Year Yet workshop tomorrow. I'm pretty sure, it's November 9th. I'm feeling this ahead of time, but if you're not coming yet, you absolutely should, because this is really where we're focusing. And so once you have the big vision, the dream, once you have your detailed plan, now you have to step into phase 3. And this is where I see a lot of people have some resistance, specifically entrepreneurs, because we like to have new ideas and stuff like that. Now you have to step into actual employee mode. This is where I want you to become the star employee in your business. You have the vision set by the entrepreneur, you have the plan set by the CEO. Now you have to show up and execute on the plan that will deliver the vision, right? And I think unless you've literally hired out every single job that you need to do in your business, there are certain things that need you to show up and truly execute. And this is when you kind of have to put those other two, versions of you to bed. They have to be out of the way, because if I hired a new employee and every morning we're trying to get our to-do list done and they were like, well, I've got a new idea, actually, what if we did this? It's great for, your employees to have new ideas. But if you're like, listen, we have a vision, we have a plan to hit that vision, we can't be coming up with new ideas right now, it's really distracting, we need to get this done. You need to do the same thing. If you're being the employee who shows up every day and throws a wrench into the plans and comes up with a new idea and tries a new strategy and gets distracted by this shiny object over there and what this entrepreneur is doing, and maybe you need a new membership site or something like that, that's not a good employee. I need you want to really be like the best employee in your business until you've literally hired every single part of your business out. And if you have, I highly doubt you're watching this IGTV video. So this is where you want to create the tangible action steps. This is where you create that to-do list for your employee, which is you, as well as your team. Think about like, all right, now that we have the plan, if you do have team members, who's doing what? How are we breaking this up? What's on my plate? What's on theirs? What's theirs? When are those things getting done? This is the detailed to-do list that executes the big project plan that the CEO created that leads to the big vision. I mean, this is really where I see a lot of people, leave a lot of opportunity on the table because they've done the dreaming, they've created the plan, but then when it comes to actually showing up and executing, it's so easy to fall back into entrepreneur mode. I do it all the time. And then you sort of have to snap yourself back. If you have your calendar, it should be there saying, hey, here's what we're doing today. Here's how many leads we need today. Here's what, needs to happen in order to get that many leads. Boom, boom, boom. And that should all be in your calendar set up for you. So all you have to do is show up. All right. So this is the 3-part process that I use every single year. And I really recommend it. If you're one of those people who sets goals and then kind of abandons them halfway through the year, try this process. Try thinking about yourself as 3 different employees in your business. And here's another thing I should mention, just as kind of a side note. When you're being the employee in your business, you also, or when you're maybe even in the entrepreneur or the CEO versions of yourself, make sure you're setting up employee version of you and your team for success. Don't put so many things on your employees' to-do list that they literally hate you and there's no way they're ever going to get it done, right? Like that's something I see myself do all the time, where I give myself this project plan and I'm like, I can't do this in a day. What was I thinking? So minimize, make sure you're supporting your employee, which is yourself. You wouldn't do that to a team member if you had hired someone, I hope. You wouldn't treat them like that and give them a to-do list that's literally impossible to get through. So don't do that to yourself either. And make sure that you give yourself employee perks like Fridays off or whatever, you need as an employee. And one of the things that you should be doing to be a good boss to the employee version of you is making sure that the plan and the to-do list is very clear, it's very actionable, and it's very doable, right? So that's on CEO version of you, to make sure that that plan is realistic for entrepreneur version of you, so that you're not just on this hamster wheel of trying to get everything done, and then you're burnt out before the end of January. So that's something to keep in mind. That's my 3-part process. I would love to hear from you. What are some of the visions that entrepreneur version of you has for next year? And hopefully I'll see the CEO version of you guys on the workshop tomorrow. And I can't wait to hear what you have got cooking up for next year. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.